this adventure, we woke up early and grabbed some parking at San Onofre to make the walk over to San Mateo Point, where conditions were looking plenty promising. Surfline was claiming 3 to 4 feet with no wind on an almost negative tide. Ethan, who was pretty warmed up from last week's similar swell, wasted no time pulling into these fun long rides. Usual routine for Ty is to check out the first couple waves me and Ethan take off on and get excited like a little grom, then sprint full speed into the lineup. A local pod of dolphins cruised by to make sure everybody was behaving in their waters. As always, it totally blew our human minds. Then it was back to surfing. These waves would have kind of a mellow middle section in which you could throw some claims up to Nudie, who was filming with the drone high above our heads, chilling in the barely legal airspace which ended at the shoreline. Not to worry, Nudie had filled out all the legal FAA forms to fly here at Churches, which is one of the only benefits of having a non-modified drone to film your friends surfing 2 waves in a row. You can see Ty in the background taking off of the shoulder of the wave behind me, waves following almost exactly the same path as the one I'm on. And while Ty's ripping his way down that wave, you'll see Ethan in the background with a total 3 in a row Grand Slam attempt if he'd only made the wave. Not to worry though, Ethan did wind up catching his fair share of long rippable rights. I also pulled in on this sick party wave with my boy Ethan. Some of these fun long rides would close out, and then they would close out. And then on this one, Ty had a good opportunity and threw it away. After a couple hours in the water, we headed ashore for some leisure time. Unfortunately, the treacherous rocks of Trestles claimed a piece of Ethan's foot in the process, so we packed it with sand and headed back out after some quick delegations. Usually at about this time in the day, the winds kind of pick up and put some texture on the water, but Ty was still finding his way across some clean faces. You can see in the background behind Ethan that the wind is picking up and putting a little bit of texture on the water. But right over the reef, the waves were still remaining nice and clean, plenty rippable, and the rides were almost never ending. This would have been a fast party wave hadn't I decided to pull out and just fling my board at Ty, which is a reminder that it's always important to try to hold on to your board, especially when there's potential to hit somebody in the face. This wave right here isn't the best, but it's a better example of how to hold on to your board so you don't smack Ty in the face with it. This is the best example of when to take off on a wave, is when nobody else is trying to paddle for it, leaving me with plenty of room for some much needed practice on my backside surfing. Here's Ethan taking the slam of the day, followed by the day's trend of this wave closing out and then giving Ty a chance to rip. By now, we're 10 minutes into this video and several hours into this session. You might be wondering to yourself, how many waves did these guys catch? We didn't manage to put together a complete tally of every wave caught, but it was enough to have this slightly overweight surf dad completely worn out for a couple days after. we're closing in on our goal of ending this video at 13 minutes and 13 seconds, we decided to make the hike back to San Onofre to the car. Ethan might be the first person to make the hike in socks, shoes, and a wetsuit. Ethan, the boys, shoes, socks, and all made our way to the Schwack afterwards for a perfect ending to a surf session for the much-needed calories from the Big Al's Bacon Burger. Ethan took some time to reflect on the waves by himself. Every surf trip is an adventure.